This video is brought to you by World of Warships, the best free-to-play game with the perfect balance between action and strategic gameplay. For this project I used the FlyHawk plastic model kit of HMS HOOD at 1:700 scale. To make the main deck look like a wooden surface, I used a thin brush to create thin lines in 3 different shades of wood. Since the 3 shades are close to each other, I then used an intermediate color tone to blend them all together. When I finished the decks, I covered the ship with masking tape and continued to paint the various parts. This is the painted model, but before we continue any further, I would like to quickly talk about our sponsor, World of Warships. World of Warships is a free-to-play PC game enjoyed by millions of players worldwide. The game has new content releases each month, whether it is new ships, in-game nations, cosmetics, or even ship classes. You can always count on enjoying fresh gameplay experiences. You can play in more than 40 unique maps with dynamic weather, all of which have been updated with stunning new water effects and textures. You have multiple ship classes to choose from quick and devastating destroyers, do-it-all cruisers, sneaky submarines, aircraft carriers, and my absolute favorite, big and powerful battleships. And did I mention that the game is also available on consoles? So download World of Warships right now using the first link in the description and make sure to use the code WARSHIPS during registration for exclusive in-game rewards. Thanks again to World of Warships for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to use the link and the code in the description to get started.
This is how legends are made.
Okay, let's continue with the project. Most historians agree that the battlecruiser Hood sank as a result of a huge explosion close to Hood's mainmast on the boat deck. And if we consider that part of the deck was completely blown away by the explosion, then the ship must have broken up somewhere around here. And this is where I will make my cut. In order to protect the model from the heat of the resin, I have to reinforce all the thin parts of the model. So I attach thin wire to all the masts of the ship. I am also replacing the ship's plastic cannons with metal cannons. Also, to increase realism, I added metal chains to the ship's anchors. Then I used oil washes to create the weathering on the ship and some normal wear and tear on the underwater part of the ship's hull. Finally, I added the ship's metal handrails and the ship's rigging, which I created by thin black wire. At the point where the ship broke in half, I wanted to create a lot of turbulence in the water and air bubbles that would logically come out of the ship as she sank. So I dipped cotton into epoxy resin, and with that I started creating all this water turbulence and bubbles that would come out of the ship. The cotton soaked in the resin will also serve to seal the ship in order to keep the air from escaping during casting. Then I used the dry cotton to create a more transparent disturbance of the water. Finally, I added some broken ropes and the ship was ready for the resin casting. To increase the realism, with a syringe I added air bubbles which were caught inside the cotton. After 72 hours, the resin was hard enough and I could drill some holes at the bottom so I could add LED lights. Then I used a rubber ball and a piece of plexiglass as supports to be able to create the smoke coming out of the ship exploding. For the smoke, I mixed soft clay and white silicone in equal quantities. After I added this mixture, I started to create small clouds of smoke with my sculpting tools, and then I used a dry brush to give it some texture. When the cloud had dried, I painted it with my airbrush. Then I started creating the sea surface with an acrylic water gel. And when the water gel was dry, I mixed these two acrylic materials in order to create the sea foam and the water disturbance created by the sinking of the vessel. At the final stages of this project, I created a wooden base which I painted black. I made the necessary electrical connections so that my diorama is illuminated by two LED flickering lights. I glued the diorama on its base. I made a metal nameplate which I glued on the wooden base, and my diorama was finished. So this is the diorama inspired by the sinking of the mighty Hood. I hope that you like it and I hope that you enjoyed watching the process. Many thanks again to World of Warships for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to use the link and the code WARSHIPS in the video description to get exclusive in-game rewards. Please leave me your comment below, tell me what you like or what you don't like, I always love to hear your opinions. As always, I would like to say a big thank you to all the supporters of my channel. Thank you all very much for watching, have a great day everyone, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.